All right, what's up, everyone? It's Zach, and today I'm here with a very special guest. I'm here with Dan Conrod. Dan, how are you today?
I'm fantastical.
Awesome, man. Glad to hear it, and thank you for taking the time to be a part of the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, for our listeners back at home, Dan, really awesome person. I've had the privilege to connect with him for quite a while now. He is really passionate about sports, which I love, of course, but also he is a business owner, entrepreneur. He has his company, DC4L Custom Tees. And if you've really been following the podcast for a while, you might remember when I talked about having the podcast t-shirts, hoodies, and everything. I worked with Dan on that. So Dan was awesome to get the design together and put it on some clothing. So there are a few of those out in the wild that aren't just owned by me. So if you're listening to that, shout out to y'all for supporting, and you can for putting it together for us.
I love how you said out there in the wild.
Yeah, right. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's just a little bit about Dan and our connection. But Dan, do you mind just telling the listeners a little bit about yourself, what you're doing these days, all that good stuff?
Sure. Uh, it's funny how the world works. So literally, I met you because of what I do, obviously,
Hmm.
and I ended up doing. I'm pretty sure it was the Ronnie Bell shirt that linked me with you, because that was the
Okay.
one that kind of got the Michigan fans a little bit. And you're in the Michigan area, are you not?
Correct. I'm in
Okay.
Michigan.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's what might have been the catalyst between you and I linking up would have been that. So I did it like a Ronnie Bell shirt. But so about myself, I'm a 40-year-old dude. I got three daughters and a wife. I had a kidney stone surgery after passing countless amounts of kidney stones in my life, and I had a surgery, so I was off work, and I have a bad case of ADHD. So sitting around doing nothing, it didn't really work for me. And I never really did video games and stuff like that because it just, there was never any. Well, when I was growing up, there was no way to get paid playing video games. Like
Hmm.
you couldn't Twitch, there was no esports or anything like that, right?
Right.
Um, so I never really got into video games because there was no way to. It was just a time killer, right? When you have kids, you don't really have time to kill anymore. That's kind of how,
Right.
that's how life unfolds. So that being said, I kind of got really bored of just sitting around doing nothing, and like I live in Canada, and to get cool, unique sports apparel in Canada, it is very hard, and it's also very expensive because the
Okay.
exchange rate between us and Canada is not very good. So like just think like $1 for you down there, it costs me $1.30 up here,
Okay.
right? So if something is a $25 shirt for you in the US, for me, I'm going to end up spending 35 or more on it because of tax and shipping and everything else, right?
Right.
So I kind of was like, all right, well, I found a way to get shirts. Like I don't print the shirts in my backyard or nothing along that lines. I have an amazing printer who's printed over 35 million pieces of garment. Okay,
Okay.
not a. I don't got a shed that I print shirts in or nothing like that and send them out. I promise. They're all professionally printed, professionally packed, and they're all sent off with top quality. I do all the design work for them. So I found this company that I could do designs, and then I could get my own stuff and get it cheaper. And when I first started this 6 years ago, Zach, I was very, very basic. I didn't know how to do anything. I never did it before. So I built my website. I downloaded Photoshop. I made the Twitters and social medias and all that good stuff. Because before I went on my surgery, I should kind of skip back a second. Before I had my surgery, I used to work at a place that sells domain names and website
Okay.
building and all this other stuff. So you would call in to renew your domain name or your hosting package or whatever. My job was then to upsell you on us building you a website and how to make money online and so on and so forth. So
Okay.
whilst I'm on surgery and I'm kind of getting better, uh, I had this epiphany that if every day I'm trying to tell people how to make money online and every day I'm selling you on how to make money online, why aren't I making money online? Why aren't I taking my own advice and grabbing the bull by the horns and going and kind of doing it myself? So
Right.
that was where I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna just make the website and the socials, and I kind of knew a couple things on how to build traffic and such like that. Well, I thought I did, so I kind of went into it, and I just, like I said, it just started from there, and I self-taught myself on how to do everything from scratch, and the custom request portion of it really is, for me, is the ability of pushing me outside my comfort zone and making me do things that I wouldn't even think to do.
Hmm.
Somebody would message me, and like my very first design that I did was a Steelers design. That was the first custom request where someone asked me to do like something sports related,
Hmm.
and that one there took off, and it didn't sell a lot, but it got retweeted a lot, and then I
Yeah.
started getting a lot of followers, and then I started getting other requests, and it kind of went from there. So, um, long-winded answer. That's me, and that's how DC4L Custom Tees itself came to be as my business.
Yeah.
And after 6 years, I'm still making friends with fabric. So that's how, like I said, that's how me and you met, right? So
Yeah. I love it. That's awesome. And now with the name of it, so DC, like I'm assuming it's your initials, right? The 4L, is that what's the significance of that?
so I'll kind of give you this one. I hate being the long-winded talker here, but
Oh, you're good.
I'm gonna have to be here. So, um, the DC is when I first started this, because my logo was black and white, and because after the Steelers fan, I got a bunch of Raiders fans requests, and kind of just started getting a lot of Raiders requests,
Okay.
and I kind of got lumped in with the Derek Carr
Okay.
because they thought I was a Derek Carr fan and they thought I was
Yeah.
a Raiders fan. So they seen the .con, or sorry, they seen the DC and the number 4. So they're thinking, okay, it's Derek Carr. And then, so again, I'll kind of rewind. When I was in grade 12, I took an entrepreneurship class, and my
Okay.
best friend in the class, his last name is Doughton, and my last name is Conrod.
Yeah.
So when we were in grade 11 and 12, well, even like the whole time through grade school, we had basically were corny, and like kids are. So you think that your best friend is the coolest person in the world. So we had this little saying, and it was .con for life, which was
Okay.
first 3 letters of his last name, first 3 letters of my last name, the number 4, and then the word life. Which
Okay.
is really embarrassing when I tell people my email now, and that's my email address because I got my email when I was way back when, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 40 now, so that was over 24 years ago now.
Right.
Um, so like .con for life at Yahoo is my email. Um, so trying to say that to people, and then no, it's not. It's the number 4, not spelled out for. No, it's the number. They give you the funniest look every time, right? But
Yeah.
so we in grade 12 entrepreneurship class did like a battle of bands concerts, and like people charge people, so that was one little thing. Then we also had the t-shirt thing where we would sell t-shirts. So um, that was the t-shirt company, was .con for life. So when I started this up, I said, well, I pay homage to the old days and the beginnings of it all, because that's kind of where it all started, was
Yeah.
then. So I just took off the .con and the life part and just kind of simplified it with just DC4L. So instead of .con for life,
Hmm.
it's DC4L, and then custom tees is what I do. So
Right.
if I was a pizza shop, it would have been DC4L pizza,
Right.
but I do shirts. So
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, first of all, now I guess I was wrong for assuming it was your first and last name for the DC, but that's funny. Awesome. Okay. Very cool. So, and it's cool that you have that origin story and you've stuck with it. And I mean, really just paid homage to it. Like you said, I think that's pretty unique. And um, I do think it's cool that like you have the custom tees in your names because like you said, that's what you do. But like to anyone that's listening that's not familiar with Dan and his business, he does so much more than just tees, which I think is awesome. And like there's just every time I see you post something, it's like a different type of product. And I'm like, man, you're expanding more and more each day.
yeah, custom jerseys, custom basketball jerseys is in now. So that's the new.
Are you wanting to expand as much as possible, or do you kind of get to a point where you're like, no, I don't want to branch too far with the products that you have?
No, because then for me, the products are basically there by request, right? So,
Mm,
literally, if you have a request for something, all you have to do is message me and ask me. If I have it, I have it. If I don't have it, I'll try to get it. If I
okay.
can't, I'll be honest and tell you that I can't. So, if someone says, "Hey, Dan, I love that design, but I'd really like it on a pillow," then I will get you a pillow. I literally have my hands available to countless amounts of products, from mugs to socks to aprons to posters, canvases, literally you name it, I got it. And that's why the motto really is you ask, we deliver, because if you ask me, I will find a way to get it.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10. There are a couple times where I haven't been able to find a certain thing or the price point for me to do it. Because listen, anytime I'm in a middleman a play, you gotta tweak the price a little bit, right?
Right.
The middleman's got to make something for their time and effort. So if I'm going to go out and I'm going to source it for you, and then I got to go through another vendor, whatever the case have you, then obviously there's a little upsell. So sometimes it's not cost effective to be the middleman, and then
Hmm.
I'll push them over to say, like, hey, this is where I can find it from, and you're more than welcome to go get it through them. So
Got it.
I'll always, like I said, if I can't sell it to you, I'll help you find it too.
Okay. Perfect. And like kind of going off of that, kind of like the cost effectiveness and just like the logistics of having a business and running a business. Like if I asked you to do a design for me, make a t-shirt, and it was like this one-off design that literally no one else in the world would be interested in getting. Like it's just something personal to me.
Yeah.
Does it does taking on projects like that and making items, does that impact you from like a cost standpoint of like, would it be better for you to have a design that like 1,000 people will buy versus just one? Or does that not really come into play too
So
much from like a cost standpoint?
on an honest 100% level, anytime I can make more money is a great thing, right?
Yes.
So
Hmm.
if you came to me and said, Dan, listen, this is my favorite player, and I want this design, and I can make that design, I know based on the player that okay, hey, I could probably get a couple other people to buy this,
Right.
right? So, and that's kind of how it works, right? It's like,
Hmm.
listen, if I only made shit that I liked, I would only have Patriot stuff and pictures of my kids and other things, right? And no one else
Yeah.
would really want to buy it, right? So,
Yeah.
um, so I will do. I don't mind making anything for anybody. Listen, you would be amazed at the amount of designs that I do that never see the light of day because
Okay.
they're personal to somebody. I don't put up pictures of people's passed away relatives
Hmm.
that I do shirts for, or things that hit a little close to home. And I don't ever post people's kids unless they give me permission to do it. Even though I've done the design, I have kids, so I always, as a respectful thing, will always ask, right? So there's sometimes where it's too personal and they don't want it up, and I don't post it. I if if I can get you to come and get a shirt from me, right?
Hmm.
And it's personal to you and you get it and you love it, right? Well, the next time you need a personalized shirt, you're going to come to me. Or the next
Yeah.
time that you know somebody needs a shirt, you're going to go, hey, I got a guy. He's really cool. He's laid back, takes care of you, whatever, whatever, whatever. Then, you know what I mean? I don't need to make a shirt design and sell 100 of them to make that shirt profitable.
Yeah.
Because when you wear the shirt that you love, you are essentially a walking billboard for me, and you will trumpet my name to anybody who wants to listen. And that is more profitable than selling 100 shirts most times. Because if I could get 100 customers on the custom side of things, then I can get 100 new customers plus sell that to 100 other people as well, right? So
Right.
it's a complete roll of the dice. Like the Ronnie Bell shirt that blew up,
Hmm.
it was a request from like a customer. I didn't think it was going to blow up. And 9 times out of 10, they don't, right? It's like I do a design, and whether it be a player or not, the bulk of the time I don't sell hundreds of them. I sell a couple
Hmm.
of them. I might sell 25 or sell 30 of a certain design, and then the odd time there's a banger. And then when you hit a banger, it's like anything, right? Like if
Yeah.
you're digging for gold and you find a pebble here and a pebble there, but then all of a sudden you find a nugget, well, you're doing the right thing. You
Right.
know that you're moving in the right direction, and that's where I'm at, right?
Yeah. No, for sure. That makes sense. And I mean, just for the record and to anyone listening, I think another I think that I just want to bring attention to is like, in addition to what Dan does and being able to provide designs, for anything that you want. You ask, we deliver is the motto. Like, I think it goes just so much further for me, at least from a customer standpoint, that like Dan's been fantastic to work with. I mean, whether it's I kind of want this kind of design, but I don't know what it looks like. He'll run with it and come up with a cool design, and he'll make sure like, hey, do you like this or do you not like it? And it's never like, okay, here's the first that you have to like it, you have to buy it. It's just kind of like, okay, you don't like it, let's rework it. Let's find out what you're gonna like. And I mean, even just from the purchasing standpoint of just every time I've worked with you, you've sent me messages, emails like, hey, just got it, it's coming through. I'll get it out in the next couple days, whatever. So, I mean, the customer service you provide is phenomenal too. So I think, to anyone listening, like it's not just a high quality.
So it's really about the 3 A's, is what I say, and it sounds super fucking corny when I say it, but it's accessibility, it's accountability, and it's affordability. So I really pride myself on being available whenever somebody messages. So if somebody hits me in at the DM on Twitter or sends me an email, I respond very, very quickly, and it's usually within 20 to 50, like not even 20 minutes would go by typically before you're getting a reply, unless you're hitting me in vampire hours. I am going to be asleep at some point. So, but I don't sleep much. So there's literally like, I go to bed around 2 to 3 a.m. and I'm up at 7 a.m. taking my kids to school. So there's only a really small window that I'm sleeping and you're not going to get a reply. So accessibility is a big, big portion, because a lot of times when someone has a request for something, it's an impulse request.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, yo, man, I'd really love that on a shirt. Well, and then they go, Dan, I want you to make that on a shirt. Well, if I put it on a shirt but I wait 3 days to do it, well, they may not want it anymore. The moment might have passed, so on and so forth, right? So
Right.
for me, it pays to be on top of things. It pays to be on point. Is my big catchphrase. I'm a big catchphrase type of dude.
Okay.
So that's the accessibility portion of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The accountable bit. Listen, anytime you're dealing with any business, right, and you get a product that you're not happy with, and they don't want to reimburse, they don't want to take care of it, they don't want to replace, whatever have you, it can be very, very annoying, and it makes you not want to deal with that business ever again.
Right.
So if you have an issue with any product of mine or any like anything, like I'm going to be accountable to that. I'm going to take care of the problem and make sure that I replace something if it wasn't sent to you properly, or if you got a shirt and you washed it one time and the whole thing washed away, or got a big hole in the shirt or whatever. I'm going to take care of that. I'm not going to make you, the customer, lose your hard-earned money because you got a shitty product like that.
Right.
So that's the accountability aspect. And then the affordability is key, because you were talking about like a personalized item, or like a one-off kind of design that nobody else is going to buy. Well,
Right.
a lot of people won't even touch that because they're not going to make any money off of it.
Right.
Whereas I, on the other hand, I'm affordable because I want you to go, Dan, man, I got to go to a concert this weekend and I want to have this on a shirt. Can you do it? Sure. Boom. Get it out to you, and then you get it. Because like I said, the next time that you need a shirt, you're going to come back to me. How many t-shirts do you buy a year, Zach?
Ooh, that's a great question. Probably more than I need to.
Right. Right. But that's a great answer, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you're going to buy more than you need to, then I know you're going to come back to me and buy another shirt at some point in time.
Right.
Right. But if I don't take care of you, if I'm not accessible, I'm not affordable, I'm not accountable, you're not going to fuck with me. You're not going to
Right.
come back to me. You're not going to tell other people to come to me. So, as corny as the 3A's sound, if you're running a business and you don't utilize those three components, what are you doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? You're just taking money out of people's pocket one time only and not coming back again. And I don't really, like I said, and I didn't get into this to get rich. I didn't
Okay.
get into this to, get rich overnight. I got into this to make what I could make by going to work every day. And in that way there, I can stay home and I can be an awesome father and hang out with my kids and always be around. Ever since COVID, I now take care of my mother and her husband. So it's it allows me to take care of family while earning an income as well, right? So
Right.
it really is, it is beneficial to me. So I need customers, so I don't mind jumping through the hoops and doing what needs to be done to retain customers and keep people happy. You know what I mean? That's what it's really all
Yeah,
about.
definitely. And I know that Dan, you said you've been in business, you've been doing this for about 6 years now. In the 6 years
Yeah.
that you've been running, have you seen kind of like steady growth each year, or has it had moments of, just like kind of slowing down, or did it take like at least like 2 or 3 years before you kind of saw some good movement, or what's like the journey look like through the 6 years?
Well, the first year was a joke.
Okay.
And I say that because listen, when Google how many bottles of Coca-Cola was sold in the first year Coke was in business.
Right.
You'd be surprised. You'd think it
Okay.
was hundreds, right? But it wasn't.
Yeah.
I think I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was under 100 or at least under 1,000 or something like that. Anyways,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to make money year one. I was
Okay.
expecting to build engagement and kind of get out there. And through learning curves, I've learned what to do, what not to do. I've learned to do certain things along the way that have turned out to be what's good for business and what's good for what I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I like this last month right here, April, was probably the worst month I've had in 3 years.
Oh
And
wow.
and listen, there was a lot of personal stuff that happened. My mom was in the ER for 2 weeks. It was really scary for a time being there. So and listen, I still got to work through all these things. But momentum is a very big portion of my business, of what I
Okay.
do. And when things are hitting good. But when they're not, it's fucking it's crickets, right? So it you gotta and this is probably the same in anybody's business, is when the momentum is there, you really got to ride that momentum out, because the moment that you stop, it takes time to build that momentum back up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is I gotta restart and kind of I didn't lose any base, like I didn't lose my foundation,
Right.
but I lost some motivation. Like I said, there's been life comes at you, right?
Yeah.
And you just deal with things as best as you can, right? So the winter months kind of get hard in my house. I have a wife that has depression, so the winter months get really hard on her. We're just coming through the end of that. Then my mom got sick and ended up in the hospital, and that was really scary. So it was like the last month was a little hectic, which can impact anybody's business, right? So
Sure.
that's why this April was really, really slow. I didn't even really need to tell you all that. I guess I didn't have to say it. But anyways, this is honesty hour with Zach.
Exactly.
So, but that being said, like there was progression year in and year out. I'm continuing to grow. I've hit a little bit of a kind of, I guess, a plateau on the Twitter side of things, where like I'm so close to 10,000 followers, but I just can't get over the hump. I'm like 50 away, and then I'm like 100 away, and then I'm back to 50 away.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm going to crack that. That's my next goal. Is I'm trying to crack that number of over 10,000 followers on Twitter. So if you don't follow me on Twitter as of yet, you should hit the follow button. It's at DC4L Custom Tees. Shameless plug. Shameless plug. So, but yeah, just to answer your question directly, Zach. Yes, every month there's been progression. Whether it be, if you're not in sales, I'm progressing it in other ways. That's why I'm taking the time out to do these podcasts and stuff right now. I even started to do my own podcast, because I'm just trying to drum up some additional engagement that I may not have been able to hit without these other different avenues, like talking to you, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate you just sharing just everything that you did with the journey and everything. I mean, I think that, you know, from hearing everything, it's like a lot of people, I think, especially, maybe people closer to my age and in their 20s and such, that my kind of generation has the mentality of like overnight success, or like things are just going to happen instantly. And the
Yeah.
reality is it doesn't. And it
No.
can be a long haul, and you have to put in the work and stay consistent with it. So, I mean, that's why I like to ask you that question, Dan, just to hear you say that, like, yeah, like the first year you didn't go in with high expectations, and like it was, quote unquote successful or profitable year, but that doesn't matter in the grand scheme because you knew that like you're playing the long game, not just the overnight hit. And I mean, it sounds like you've made great progress. And I think the other thing to note is like progress doesn't necessarily mean our sales going up every month. It could mean different things you're learning and different ways to better the business and the experience it's providing.
And that, you mean that last part really is the crux of me. I mean, because like I
Mhm.
said, if it was just about profit, I would have quit a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And listen, I don't know how to quit. It's a bad thing for me. I don't know. It's a good trait and a bad trait. Like I tell my kids all the time, like, hey, so we won't, right?
Right.
So like, listen, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, I could have, and I got, listen, I've seen a lot of people do what I do and fold up shop after year one, on year two, because it is a grind, and
Hmm.
it is it's a hustle, like straight up. Like, you mean, you see me posting shit on Twitter all the time,
Yeah.
and when I post things on Twitter, that's essentially me fishing, right? Like, I got to throw bait in the water if I'm going to try to catch somebody, right? So I'm going to I drop the images that or designs that I've done for other people, and so I'll be sitting down and I'm just kind of doing nothing. The kids are asleep or whatever, and I'll just hop on Twitter and bang off a couple tweets or whatever. And if I get some engagement, someone says, "Oh man, that's wicked! I need the link for that," or "Hey, I like that style. Can you do something different with it?" or whatever, right? So I can't be idle. And like I said, the momentum portion is a big factor. And the moment that I get idle, is I lose all my momentum, and then I got to restart that whole momentum up again. And it's
Yeah.
harder to start over again than it is to just hustle through it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And when it comes to that like hustle and that motivation to just keep going and everything, I know you said like just as kind of like who you are, that's just part of your personality, but like how do you find that motivation? How do you keep the hustle alive? I mean, I guess like if someone's listening to this and they're maybe in a similar situation or they want to start their own business or they have a business and they're not seeing the success that they want right now, like how do you or like what advice would you have to like keep going?
There's three things that you have to look at.
Okay.
If you work really hard, and you're a hard worker, and you know that you're a fucking hard worker, right? And you know
Hmm.
that you bust your ass, and you're working for somebody else, and you're making them money day in and day out by being the productive person that you are you being compensated properly for that, right? I always did sales, okay? And
Hmm.
I was always, and I'm not tooting my own horn, I'm not bragging. I was always a top earner wherever I was at, okay?
Okay.
Um, there was some jobs where I didn't even take hourly wages. I just took commission only, because I know I have the ability to write my own paycheck. I don't like you telling me how much I'm worth per hour. That's a
Okay.
bullshit way to live. And I'm not saying that as a disrespectful thing or a slight to anybody who lives that way. That is, I just can't have somebody say, Dan, you're worth $12 or you're worth $20 an hour to me, because I know I'm worth more than that. I'm going to make you more than that. I'm going to
Yeah.
work harder than the guy sitting next to me, because that's just how I'm wired,
Mm.
right? So not I couldn't work for anybody anymore. After I had the surgery, like even just to go back and go to work and do the 9 to 5 and the punch in, the punch out, and only be capped at making X amount of dollars, and then basically getting paid to lose time with my kids and lose light. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't do it anymore. So for me, I had to do it, because if you go to work every day and you hustle hard for somebody else, why wouldn't you hustle just as hard for yourself or even harder?
Right.
Right? And that was my ultimate epiphany, right? Listen, I have a tattoo on my leg of somebody else's business. Okay. I ran their business as the operations manager. I saved the business from going out of business and being fucked over on numerous occasions, to the point where the boss said, I'm going to give you a $10,000 bonus. I said, shit, if you do that, I will tattoo you on my leg. I'll get the brand tattooed on my leg. Well, I got the check, and listen, I'm a man of my word. So I have a big ass tattoo on my leg of a brand. And then he sold his company to a company down in Chicago, and the company is still thriving down there. But you could put your blood, sweat, and tears into somebody else's business, and they could sell it tomorrow, and you don't have nothing.
Yeah.
So I look at the tattoo on my leg, and it's a great moment in my life where I did some really cool shit that a kid from Nova Scotia probably don't really do that often, especially an uneducated one like myself. But I look down at it and it's a moment in my life, but it's also a reminder that I'm never going to put my blood, sweat, and tears into somebody else's dream when my own dream's on hold. I'm not doing that. I'm going to follow my own dream. I'm going to put in my own blood, sweat, and tears. And if I fail, I fail at my own dream. I
Yeah.
didn't fail at yours.
I like that. That's really powerful that like just the idea of working for your own dream. And I mean, I think that's even like for me good perspective to think about like, I work so hard for, my current job or like past jobs. I've worked so hard, but it's like if I'm willing to work that hard for someone else for their dream or for their business, like why should I even hesitate doing that for myself?
Because we put our own life on the back burner because
Right.
two reasons. One, we're afraid that we're going to fail,
Mm-hmm.
or we're afraid that we're not going to be able to withstand the financial downfall that it takes to succeed.
Yeah.
Because before you can be a success, you got to climb the ladder, right? And sometimes
Right.
the ladder's not easy to climb, right? And some people are afraid of heights. They turn right back around and they go back down where it's safe and it's comfortable, right? So there's risk to what I do, because if Twitter shut down, which was a real thing for a minute, I was scared. If Twitter shut down, my business would probably flounder,
Sure.
because that's where 80% of my business comes from, is Twitter
Right.
and the engagement with sports fans in general,
Right.
or music movie fans and such, right? So but yeah, like it sounds cliche and so on and so forth, but listen, we all can put our blood, sweat, and tears into somebody else's dreams, or we can really just focus on our own.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can turn your passion into a job that, like I said, pays the rent, pays the car note, make sure the groceries are in the fridge, you'd be surprised how much happier you are just with that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to be making millions of dollars year in and year out to be a successful business owner.
Right. Yeah, I think that's really good perspective. I think like a lot of the mentality, and maybe again, this goes to maybe like that the kind of younger my generation of like anything I do, I have to be, you know, a success, quote unquote, a success, which means of dollars or like, 500,000 sales or whatever. Like it doesn't. That isn't the only thing to define success in business. You don't have to hit $1 million in your first year or $1 million even lifetime for it to be worthwhile or successful or for you to be able to live the life that you want to live.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, with your experiences, Dan, like obviously you've started the business, spent 6 years and everything, but did you ever, or even I guess currently, do you ever have that struggle of like fear or worry or doubt? And I know you mentioned kind of like with Twitter shutting down, you're a little worried, but do you still struggle with those things, or were those ever thoughts, or were you just always confident that you could make it work with your work ethic?
Um, and again, just I'm an honest person, so I can't.
Yeah.
All honesty, like I don't really put too much stock into it. The only time that I ever kind of get that feeling of doubt, or like, oh, am I doing the right thing or whatever, is in a slow month. Like this month here in particular was a slow month. So
Hmm.
then I kind of beat myself up, because then I know I'm not taking care of my side of the financial responsibilities if the month continues. And now listen, when I say it was a bad month, it is, I mean, I consider anything that's not progressing better than the last month as not a good month. This
Okay.
one here is, if we were stacking all the months up for the last 6 years, it's in the bottom portion of that. And
Okay.
that's, so like that's a step backwards. And that's
Right.
why it's so much more impactful. Like I said, like it wasn't that it was a bad month in terms of the year, it was a bad month in terms of 6 years. So that is what I look at, and that's why it kind of weighs on me heavy this month, is
Okay.
because I haven't had a month like this in a while.
Right.
But there's that old Drake saying, like he said, I mean, someone told me I fell off. Ooh, I needed that.
Yeah.
And like that's this month for me. That this month said, dude, you fell off, Dan. Get the fuck back. And now, like I told my wife today, is my blinders are back on, and I'm
Hmm.
tunnel vision, and I'm going to come out on top, because that's what I do. So
Right.
a bad month motivates me more than anything else. So I'm kind of glad that I have this month, because it's going to make me work harder for the rest of the year.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm not gonna get complacent. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna think I've won, right?
that's important.
It is. It is. Like Kobe said, I mean, why am I happy? Job's not done.
Right. Exactly. And Dan, I know earlier you mentioned that like you have like a fantastic printing company that you work with and everything.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like is the business, are you the only person that's working for the business, or do you have any other people that work with you?
Oh no, it's just me. So
Okay, that's what I thought.
if you get a DM, it's from me. If you get an email, it's from me. If you see a tweet, it's from me. If you see a design, it's from me.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you want to keep it that way, or do you ever think you want to like build a team or anything?
Honestly, I would love to build a team,
Okay.
but in order to build a team, you have to build a foundation. And
True.
this is what I tell my kids is everything has to get done in succession. And if you're trying to build a 5-story house and you ain't got a strong foundation, your 5-story house is not going to be stable for very long.
Right.
So I want to build a very strong foundation before I even look at employing anybody. Because listen, I would love to be able to employ influencers.
Yeah.
I could get like that. I would love to employ someone to do my website for me because it sucks. I mean, it's functional. It does what it needs to do,
Right.
but it could be way better. There's this thing called SEO
Hmm.
that I mean, I don't know much about, but man, like if someone could go through my website and SEO it and get me found on Google and everything else way better, way faster, that would be beneficial to me. But I'm not selling enough product that I can pay for that.
Hmm.
And I don't believe in taking out a loan and trying to live up to that. Because I mean, once you take out a loan, like once I put somebody else's financials into it, it's not my business anymore.
Right.
And that's how I feel, right? Whether it be mine or not, I just feel like it's not mine anymore because now even if I make profit, I'm giving it away. And I do
Right.
enough profit sharing with athletes and charities and stuff like that that then I lose out on anything, right? So
Hmm.
um, I work a lot for free for certain things because I love what I do and I love doing good things for good people.
Yeah.
So I don't mind taking a loss, but I can't take a loss if I have someone that's also financially invested in me because then I still have to pay them regardless.
Right.
So
Right.
once you get into that, it's a little different. So ideally, at some point, I'd love to have somebody else design for me, not for me, like you mean, but like have someone that has a specialty that does something that I can't do or something, right? Like, and but those people I end up just doing a 50-50 split with, and I have
Hmm.
that currently, right, where it's like, yo, hey, like I do this and so we'll release a shirt and I'll split it with them 50-50 or whatever, right? So
Sure.
there are those brokerages, but outside of that, there's nobody else that works with me or for me.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. I mean, I always thought it was just you running the whole show and doing everything. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think that, again, that just like speaks to the hustle that you have, right? Like you're doing it all, every second of it. And like you said earlier, when someone reaches out to you, you're getting back to them pretty immediately. You know, you're responding, you're engaging, whether it's through messages or, you know, publicly on Twitter and stuff, through just like tweets and stuff. So I think it shows how much this means to you and how passionate you are about it. And I mean, I think that's the biggest takeaway for me, that like this isn't just something that like I think you're kind of into, or you just do it for fun. Well, like you do it for fun, but like I can tell how passionate you are and how much you love what you do.
Well, without the passion, I wouldn't be able to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The wherewithal to continue to do it, and it's not a hobby for me. I don't have another job. Like that's what I
Hmm.
tell people too. Like, I mean, this is my job. So like if you request a design and I spend time with you going back and forth, and then you don't buy it, I mean, you've taken my time away that I could have been spending it in towards another job or
Right.
something. And I always like make the joke like you wouldn't go into Subway and have them make you a sandwich just the way you like it, and then walk away from the cash register and not
Sure.
take and not pay for anything, right?
Right.
Um, and I have this. My wife tells me all the time, like, no, you should be making people prepay and then do or watermark your design so they can't go take it and print it elsewhere. But I refuse to do it that way because I don't believe in punishing other people because there are some people that don't respect how a
Yeah.
business operates, right? Because most people order it right away,
Hmm.
and I'm appreciative. They know I'm appreciative, and again, that's why for me, like I asked earlier, like how many shirts do you buy in a year, right? Is because I have regulars that
Yeah.
buy a lot of shirts from me month in and month out. Like I got one regular that buys probably hits me with 3 different requests a month usually. I got another guy that hits me with a request on a regular once a month, and he buys a shirt for him, buys a shirt for his kid, buys a shirt for his other kid, buys a shirt for his wife, buys a tank top for her, like,
Yeah.
and all the same design, right? So I cater to people because at the end of the day, that catering is what makes my business do what it does.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think that's kind of like the unique kind of like competitive advantage that you bring is that like just your personality and how much you care about the customer. I think that that's something that's different. And sure, like kind of like you said, your wife might have mentioned of like, oh, if you don't watermark your design, someone can take it and print it somewhere else. But like I guarantee you, like, well, one, you're probably paying more to do it that way, but also
They can
you're not
remove
going to
the
get the same
watermark.
experience.
They
Right.
can,
And
they can remove the watermark really easy, and they can print it. They can, and also the watermark affects the look of the image. So when I send you an image and it's got a watermark over it, you got to imagine what it looks like underneath the
right,
watermark,
right.
right? And then when you get it, you go, "Oh, I didn't really think it looked like that," and you might not be happy, right? So I don't like the
Yeah.
watermark for that. But listen,
Mhm.
these T-shirt bots, like if you go into Twitter and you go, "I need that on a shirt," you'll get a bunch of people sending you
Yeah.
links with that shirt. Now, the funny thing is I had a shirt, and somebody posted themselves wearing the shirt, and
Okay.
there's a stain on the shirt, and
Okay.
the bot company that ripped the design off of the shirt included the
Include
stain
the state.
in the design that they sold, and I'm dying laughing about it
Yeah.
because I know that that is not a part of the design because I designed the shit. I know
Right.
it. It's mine.
Right. That's so
and,
funny.
and there's a big ass stain on the design that they're selling. So it doesn't matter how much effort you try to put into cock
Yeah.
blocking, you're not gonna fucking stop every.
Right.
It's not. I mean, the dicks will do what the dicks do. Um, sorry.
No, you're good for sure. I am curious, like, just with, since you've been doing this for a while now, based on kind of what you've seen over the years, like, is there a time of year or like an event, like, is it like, NFL playoffs, Super Bowl, is that like the busiest time for you, or is there like a consistent period that's kind of like that peak period, or does it kind of just come in waves?
When the teams are winning,
Okay.
I'm winning.
Okay.
Okay. So if the Raiders are winning games, I'm selling shirts.
Okay.
And I'm getting requests regularly from every game that happens with different plays or different things or different, ideas. Okay.
Mhm.
But when they're not winning, it gets real slow.
Okay.
All right. And again, that's where the fishing comes in. That's
Mhm.
why you'll see me dropping pictures of Rihanna that I've done, or like images of other actors or singers or whatever the case might be, because a lot of times people think that I'm just solely sports, and I need people to
Right.
know that I'm more than just sports. I'm more than just shirts. I do more things. I do everything. So
Right.
uh, I do business logos. Like I do logo design. You don't even have to buy a shirt. You can buy the logo and own it, and I'll sell it to you for $25. You own the design. It's yours. I email you the file, and you can print it yourself on shirts and sell it, or you can use it on your business cards, whatever you want. So
Okay.
it I do more than just shirts. I do more than just sports.
Got it.
But I
Okay.
sell myself first. Like listen, I've done sales my whole life. I did door to door sales for 2 years, where I did nothing but knocked on doors and sell people coupons. Okay,
Okay.
I sell myself. I don't. The product does not matter.
Mhm.
I'm going to sell you me and my accessibility, my accountability. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those things there are what people come back for. The shirt is great, but like I said, if and you've there's times like you've seen our interactions, right?
Yeah.
I don't talk to you like you're a customer.
Right.
I treat you like you're a customer, but I don't talk to you like you're one. I talk to you like you're a
Mhm.
person, right?
Right.
And we go back and forth and we make sure that we get it all done correctly, right?
Mhm.
And that back and forth piece is a big piece of the puzzle too, because you could say, "Hey Dan, I have an idea, and this is what I want," and I'll make it and I send it to you. You don't got to buy it. You don't got to go, "Oh, I hate it, but hey, here's my money." You go, dude, not really what I had in mind. So then I'm going to pick your brain a little bit more. I'm going to get a little bit more information.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I missed the mark. So I want to ask a couple more questions and find out what I can do to make it better. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to redo it. Or if you like part of it, but you don't like this color, you don't like that particular font, or you don't like the way the guy's head's tilted, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
We'll go back and forth and we'll make tweaks. And then once you green light it, once you go, I fucking love it, then I know I hit the mark.
Right.
But if you go, okay, yeah, just send me the link, I'll buy it. I'm not gonna. No, I know I didn't do my job.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm not gonna be cool with that. I need to know that you love it, because I know if you love it, then somebody else will love it.
Right.
Right. So.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, and yeah, like our interactions have been fantastic, and I can attest that Dan, he does a great job going back and forth with you and tweaking everything. And it doesn't matter if it's first, second, third, fourth, fifth draft. He's gonna do the right thing by making sure he's taking the time and attention to get you what you want and make sure that you can be proud of it. Because like if you're not proud of the design or you don't like it, like you're never gonna wear it, and that's not gonna benefit Dan, right? So like,
That's nail on the head. Listen,
exactly.
walking billboard. But if you don't ever fucking put the billboard on, it doesn't serve me any purpose, right?
Right. Right.
So like, and post it online. Post it
Yeah.
and share it. Tag me. I love seeing people wearing my shirts. And even if you don't tag me, I don't even care. I love scrolling down the timeline and going, oh shit, there's one of my shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, look, dude's at the ball game wearing one of my shirts.
Yeah.
Dude's fishing wearing one of my shirts. Like I love that shit. It gets me hyped up.
Yeah. That's awesome. And thing that I think is cool about what you do and everything is like, for me, and I don't know, maybe as I'm getting older, it's becoming more of a thing with me, but like I feel that sense of like nostalgia, or like I want to like capture moments and stuff. And being a big sports fan, it's like, oh sweet, like my favorite team made it to, the World Series and they won, or this my favorite player hit a milestone. And it's like, I think you're like the perfect person to partner with, because I'm like, man, like I want to have something to commemorate, my favorite player, the athlete that I admired growing up, just hit this milestone, and now I can get that on a T-shirt. And now it doesn't matter if it's 2 years from now, 20 years from now, 4 years from now, I'll be able to look back at that and be like, man, I remember when I saw Steph Curry, make the record for points or something. And it's just like, it's sweet to like have that kind of remembrance. And of course, like maybe you're big, like, fanatics or whatever, lids will like make designs, but it's like, it's not always like the design that you like or the design that you envision. So it's cool that you can actually go and make it custom to what the people want.
And you were kind of right where I wanted you to go. Was right at the end there.
Yeah.
Was at the end of the day, you that moment is meaningful to you.
Yeah.
And you actually reached out to somebody and had worked with them to design the shirt. So it's not like you just walked to the store and bought the design that was cookie cutter to sell to everybody. You got a design that was made for you.
Yeah.
And you got to approve the design and then go, hey, there you go. Now this is my shirt. And then if you see someone else buying it and you see someone else sharing it, you're like, you feel a little sense of pride too.
Yeah.
Man, hey, DC, that was me and you. We did
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And I love that, right? Because I like when people feel the ownership on the design, because you helped me create it. Like by even if you didn't do anything other than just hit me with the request and the suggestion, and then I take the rest from there. You like, if it wasn't for you contacting me, that shirt wouldn't exist.
Right.
So
for sure.
That's the cool part for me.
Definitely. That is a cool part. And I mean, something that made me think of is like, if you go to like a sporting event or something, you're probably in a crowd, people all wearing the same, team merchandise and stuff. So for me at least, like it's kind of cool when you're showing up to like an event and you're the only one that's rocking like a unique, design or something. You feel a little cool. You got that kind of swagger going for you. Like, yeah, like no one else is rocking this. Like, look at that.
I like the conversation piece style of it.
Yeah.
A lot of the designs that I do, because they're the abstract kind of piping art and stuff like that. Listen, like I said, I'm 40. The black light era and stuff like that was a vibe for us back then. So like I love those colors. And if you're like go to like a cosmic golf court, golf course, and you're wearing one of my shirts, it's fucking real cool. I promise you, you'll get a whole nother vibe for it afterwards. You're like, man, that really popped in there.
I'm gonna have to do that now.
Yeah, man, like it's a trip.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. So I know you've mentioned like the Raiders are pretty big
Yeah.
in Pittsburgh. Would you say like those are like the biggest kind of
If it wasn't
demographic that
for
you
those,
see?
if it wasn't for those two fan bases, I wouldn't be in business.
Okay, got it.
100%. And the best part about this is, listen, I'm a diehard Patriots fan. Okay, I grew up a
Right.
Pats fan. I lived on the east coast of Nova Scotia, on the east coast of Canada, right up above Boston. So we grew up on Patriots games on the TV, and this was in the '90s before Tom Brady was even a fucking thing.
Okay.
I never jumped on when Tom Brady got there. I was there well beforehand, so just nip that one in the butt real quick.
Sure.
And I was always a respectful sports fan. Like, I'm not the Pats by 50 guy. The fuck you, Tom Brady's gonna kill you. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm really glad Brady's not there anymore, and I don't mean that in a rude way. Like, I loved everything he did, but like, it's the bandwagon fans are trickling away,
Yeah.
and those ones tend to be the loudest, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't have, as much as I've tried, and trust me, I have fucking tried. I've sent freebies. I've done it all to try to crack and sell Patriots stuff to Patriots fans the same way that I could sell stuff to Steelers or Raiders fans, and I can't do it. They don't buy it. I'm not assholey enough or whatever it takes to fucking, because Barstool fucking they buy Barstool shirts like they're going to style,
Yeah.
but Dave Portnoy is a Boston guy, so I think that's where I missed out, right? Because I'm not local to the
Sure.
area. So that being said, like, all the sports teams that I ride heavily for, I don't get no sales on those ones. But like, I get asked to do Raiders, Pittsburgh Pirates, Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean the Dodgers. There a couple. Duke is a big one.
Yeah.
The Michigan is a big one. Michigan, the blue side of things, not the green side of things. But it comes in waves, right? So it's like that Michigan. I got the request for the Michigan for the Ronnie Bell design.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and shout out to Ronnie Bell. Like, I hope the fuck he gets drafted. I would love to see him get drafted to New England, but
Yeah.
that I just saying. He that design popped, and I got a flood of new Michigan followers because of it.
Yeah.
And
For
then
sure.
a couple of them hit me with a request, and then it goes, like I said, it just kind of goes from there. And that's
Yeah.
how I grow inside of a fan base. Same thing happened with the Louisville Cardinals. Again, it's just, if you hit me up and you got a design that isn't personalized,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be something that grows and introduces a whole new fan base to me,
Right.
and gets me over that 10,000 follower mark,
For sure. No, I love it, man. And I think you know this. You know I'm a Boston guy, right? Like I'm in Michigan. I'm from Michigan, but you know I'm a Boston fan, right?
I had no idea.
Okay, I thought we talked like Pats or something at one point, but
Maybe we
no,
did. I'm sorry if I now.
no, you're good, man. So yeah, I've always lived in Michigan, but I just being a lover of all sports, like I
Yeah,
I feel like I attached to like the Celtics pretty quickly, and then
yeah.
being from Michigan, Brady, going from Michigan to New England, I was like, all right, like the Lions sucked all my life. I was like, I need a football team to follow, and not a big hockey guy, but I do love the Bruins.
That's the
So
only
it
Boston.
just
That's the only Boston team I don't ride for is the Bruins.
okay.
I grew
Well,
up.
that makes sense. You're in Canada.
Yeah, well, but my Canadian, my hockey team is the LA Kings.
Okay.
So, well, listen. So funny story.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a household who was all Montreal Canadiens fans.
Okay.
So being a fan of the Bruins was going to make me more than the black sheep in the family than I already was.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really go down that road.
Yeah.
Through marriage, Wayne Gretzky is my second cousin, and I
Oh
thought it
my
was cool
gosh.
as fuck when I was a kid. Like, I'd
Yeah.
brag about it to everybody and shit. Like, my grandmother was at Wayne Gretzky's wedding. Thought it
Yeah.
was cool as shit, right? So I love the LA Kings.
Yeah.
Oh, and listen, I'm loyal to a fault. I don't ever, listen, once I sign up, I'm in there. Like I said, I don't quit.
Yeah.
So when the Kings sucked and played fucking 11 goalies in one season and
Yeah.
all this other shit, like, I still stuck by them. And then they rewarded me with 2 Stanley Cups. So I ain't mad at it.
There you go. I love it. Okay, I respect the king, so I'm down with that.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, I'm a Michigan guy, so like we're definitely gonna bring the Michigan crowd your way and get some good Michigan designs out there.
what's up?
But I'm also, since you said it on the podcast, I'm making it a mission to help you get that Boston, that Patriots kind of just connection out there. So first thing, you got to work on a Christian Gonzalez design. I think
I
that'd be
was already,
sweet.
I was already, I'm already plotting and
Okay,
plotting. I gotta wait until they release the number. I don't know. Maybe they already did.
not
But
that I know of.
I need a number. Once I know what his
Okay.
number is, then I'm gonzo.
Okay, perfect. I'm pushing that agenda to the top of my list. Get people on the Patriots bandwagon because
Yes,
man, we need to see some good football out of New England and just
man.
some
Like
supporters.
said, and it all comes back to winning too, right? Like you
Yeah.
go back to winning and everything else too. Then I mean, people will buy shirts. Boston, I mean, Patriots fans have a very high standard.
Mm-hmm.
They don't buy shirts from plays in games where they don't win,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas some other teams don't care if they win. If the fucking play is amazing, they'll
Right.
still rock it and enjoy it. Whereas other like Patriots fans and some other teams will look at it and go, "No, we didn't even win that game.
Right.
Fuck you celebrating that shit for?"
Right.
Right? So, and you know, like fan is short for fanatic. So we're all
Yeah.
a little crazy about shit.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. No, for sure. I agree with you on that. Dan, I think the last thing that I want to ask you is just kind of a more for fun thing.
yeah,
I we connected on this a while ago, but the artist Mike, or formerly known as Mike Stud,
yeah,
you're a fan of him.
of course.
How'd that happen?
Woosah,
I don't
woosah.
know too many people that are fans.
And it's funny because I do a podcast called Print the Shirt Podcast,
Okay.
and it's really just kind of like this. Like you just sit there and shoot the shit. I got a buddy on it, and we just kind of go back and forth. And he's a big Duke fan, right? And
Yeah.
he's from the North Carolina. So I was like, dude, do you know who Mike Stud is? Like, he's like, no. I was like, what? Like, how are you from that area? And you
Yeah.
know, so I was like, man, you gotta listen to him. So I was like, listen to the highs. It's really good. Like, cause like, I mean, you could go back and listen to the old stuff. Like, but I like the direction of the new stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Wusa just came out. I think it's Wusa is one of the new
Yeah,
ones.
Wusa is the latest one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been jamming to that one. I can't lie.
Me too. I love it.
I'm old. Like I said, like I keep saying I'm old because I'm 40. Like I know I'm not old, but like I'm old enough that I got kids and shit. Like I can't have like I don't want to fuck her into pussy and get my ass eaten and fucking bang bang shut give me drugs. Like I can't play that around the kids. So
Yeah.
his music is a little bit more docile and fucking chill, like mountains. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I can
Yep.
put that on and we go for a drive and I don't have to worry about it.
There you go. I love it, man. Yeah, no, but I remember just like one day we connected on it and I was like,
Yeah,
damn, like someone that likes Mike, like that's awesome because I
yeah.
mean, there's not too many people that I know personally in my
Either
circle
you
that
posted it
rock
or
with
I
him.
posted it on the
Yeah.
timeline, and then I DM'd you or you DM'd me, and like,
Yeah.
dude, like really?
Yeah, I know. It's a small world, man, and
Yeah.
it's great because he's an East Coast guy too. So there we go. He
It's funny
got
because
some
like
love.
not a lot of people like listen. Like I listen to a lot of dudes before they get big,
Yeah,
and it's like I've been listening to Russ for fuck man like 10
Russ
years
is good.
now, and now he's just like now everybody knows who he
Yeah,
is. But
yeah,
like for years I was like, man, you got to check this guy out, and they're like, what the fuck? Who?
yeah.
Who's this dude with long hair? Like what?
Right.
I'm like, no, he's really good. Check it
Yeah.
out. But now
All right.
I listen to fucking weird shit. Like I fucking just do with a ukulele and shit. My daughter listens to. Now I listen to him and shit.
Okay.
Some Arden Jones or something like that is his name.
Arden Jones. Okay.
Yeah, but he got some little songs in there. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is chill.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll
good.
I'll have to check him out.
Yeah,
Awesome. Anyone else that you need to put us on to from music wise that's like smaller people?
there's all kinds of small musicians, and it's the world is great now.
Yeah.
The internet has just made things so much easier to get talented people out there without having to relocate to Hollywood or New York or whatever. Like, I mean, before you actually had to get found, and now like you can just be out there.
Right.
And so like there's so many underground musicians that, like, I've been listening to OT the Real and Millie's, but now they're fucking all huge. So it's like now I'm like, man, like I remember when you guys were nothing, like not
Right.
nothing. I shouldn't say nothing. That sounds really rude when I say it. Like when you were just coming up,
Right.
like you had no buzz and nothing, and now they got all the buzz, and you're like, man, you
Right.
gotta feel cool when you fucking see
Yeah.
somebody grow from the beginning, and then they get to the top, and you're like, man, I watched that.
Yeah.
I seen them rise, and I want people to watch us and see us rise. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Exactly.
it'll happen. It'll happen, Zach. We're gonna
No
win.
doubt. Yeah, we are. We already are. We already are. And it's the mentality that you have to have. And we're making it work. We're watching it unfold every day, and we're already there, and we're going to continue to climb. Keep going,
Like,
right? As Mike would say, keep going.
I was just gonna say, like your boy Mike. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He didn't let the injury set back. He just pivoted and changed fucking ways.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He could have been a baller. He could have been playing in the major leagues, and then the injury happened, and then he just pivoted. And now look, now he's still doing the thing. So
Exactly.
winners will always win, baby.
100%.
I
Awesome.
appreciate you letting me come on here and shoot the shit with you.
Of course, man. I appreciate it as well. I know you dropped the Twitter earlier, but other than Twitter, anywhere else that people can check you out or see what you're doing with your business?
Listen, the website is the easiest
Okay.
thing. It's DC4L customtees.com.
Okay.
You can check out all the recent stuff. And the website's, like I said, it's not the best website. But like if you scroll down, there's tabs there. You can go like Pittsburgh, and you click Pittsburgh, it'll take you to all the Pittsburgh related stuff, right?
Right.
Or if you go up, there's like a recent custom designs tab. If you click that and then click latest, it'll show you like the latest stuff that I dropped, right? So you can always be curious and see what I got going on that way. If you ever want to reach out, you can always fire me an email. It's custom requests at the website, dc4lcustomtees.com. That's the email. Twitter's a thing. Instagram is the thing. Facebook sucks, but I have it. I don't use it. I don't know how, like, I don't, Facebook ain't ever been it. But those are the three major ways are email, Instagram, and Twitter, obviously.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I will put the all the links and everything in the description of the episode. So to anyone listening, if you didn't catch Dan talk about them, they'll be in the bio or the description. So just go down there, click around, check them out. So let's get Dan over that 10,000 mark.
Yes.
Go shoot him a follow, and you won't regret it. And even if you don't want to buy something right now, you never know when you're gonna want something custom made, or a friend of a friend or a coworker or whatever is gonna be like, man, I need for my anniversary, or I want to celebrate X or Y. Like Dan's your guy. He can do it all. It doesn't have to be just sports. It doesn't have to be just t-shirts.
Exactly. Zach, tell him retweets are free. They don't cost you anything. So if you see something and you like it, but you don't want to buy it or you can't afford to buy it, but you love it, just smash the retweet button. I give away a lot of free shirts every month.
Yeah, you do.
If I see people that are actively retweeting me and engaging, like, and it bears fruit, like, and I like if you retweet and then I get engagement from it from other people and stuff like that, trust me, my win is your win.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Yeah. Go retweet the stuff. And I mean, just even like if you're a big, like me, an Alliance fan, and maybe Dan has a design out there and maybe you can't afford it, or maybe it's not your favorite one, even just retweeting it, favoring it, that kind of lets him know like, hey, people out there like the Lions. And then the next design might come out and you're like, oh man, like I need Jared Goff on a shirt. This is perfect. So just it can be free to support, and it can, give you designs and cool shirts and cool stuff in the long run. So definitely go check him out, give him some love, give him some support. If you hit him up, if you give him a new follow, let him know that you heard him on the podcast, and just let him know that you're rocking with him, because I know I will be. And I'm just excited for the future for you, man. So it's been great having you. And is there any, like, I guess, last thoughts or final message you want to give to the listeners?
No, man, listen, I thank everybody who supports me for doing what I do. Like I said, from the support, from a simple retweet to a referral to an order, whatever the case happens, other than I appreciate it all, because every little bit of engagement is helpful, right?
Yeah.
I like I said to you, I appreciate you taking me on here. Your last name is Hose.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how I had never noticed that before. But like, I like that. I'm gonna use that.
Okay.
I've been trying to.
Okay. Sounds good.
I was gonna say something, but I'll save that for another day.
Okay, so sounds good, man.
I'll put a pin in that one, Zach.
There we go. There we go. We'll connect afterwards.
All right, boss. Well,
Awesome.
thanks again.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Dan. You take care.
You too. Bye now.
Bye.